Xavi Simons is the wonder kid that everyone wants to sign, a player that has proven his worth in multiple leagues over the last few years and is seamlessly not wanted by his parent club PSG. At just the age of 20 years old, Xavi Simons has a lot of quality they can provide for any of the top European sides, especially in the Premier League. But what makes him so special? Well, to find out the answers to these questions, please like and subscribe for any more football content. Now, despite being 21, Xavi Simons has been known for a long time. He was a child prodigy at La Masia and obviously moved to PSG in 2019, where he is still on the books now. And despite debuting for the Peruvian side quite early on at just the age of 19, he was eventually moved out to PSV because there was no way of him to get into the main team squad permanently. And at PSV, he had a brilliant season, getting 22 goals and 12 assists in all competitions and played a heap of positions in the Dutch league. This led to PSG rebuying him on their buyback clause and loaning him out to Leipzig, who had a brilliant year last year in the Bundesliga, with him looking to even get a move away from PSG permanently yet again, or another loan this summer. Now, one of the best things about Xavi Simons is his versatility. For PSV, he played in a heap of number of positions, even in central mid, on both wings, attacking midfield and striker, but found his place really on that left side in the end. And that continued last season, where he played majority of his games in that left wing spot, but also played a few times in attacking midfield and a lot on the right wing, being able to switch rings quite easily. And overall, he's a very skillful player, being very good at quick control and being able to evade pressure, but he is also very good at being creatively 2 steps ahead, seeing where the space is and being able to scan quite predominantly and well within the side for his team to be able to push the ball up. Now, despite this season being his first year in a top 5 league that he's ever played consistently, he still managed to get 8 goals and 13 assists in the league and 10 goals and 15 assists in all competitions, so he's got a very good output at such a young age within different circumstances. And at his young age, the reason why he's getting these great stats going forward is not down to his dribbling vision, it's always down to his composure and finishing as well. He has a tremendous work rate of trying to win the ball back when he doesn't have it, and obviously the speed that he does this ability at, it really helps him in a sense for his team. Now, in possession, Xavi can be useful to this team in many different ways. He's got a very low centre of gravity, and he's someone who loves dribbling and taking players on in a 1v1 with duels to create space for even his opposition or himself in times. And last season, while playing in Leipzig's 4-2-2-2 setup, he was allowed to basically run free and roam free on that left half space. He could even go forward or come back and help the defensive work, and was playing as a bit of an 8-10 hybrid. This allowed him to pick the ball up from deeper and progress with it, which he did brilliantly. He was having around 41 carries per game and had a total carrying distance of a lot compared to other players within the league. He also was progressively carrying it a lot at nearly 5 per game and progressively carrying it 4 into the final third. So he was picking it up in that half left space so he could progress forward and wasn't someone that was really going to deal with it defensively back. This is obviously great for Premier League teams that want someone on the break to be able to keep the ball with a lot of players around him, but it's also some great for teams in transition. He's a very good player with his speed and the quickness he does things and makes the movement happen, where he can progress a team through even a ball or a run if they have won it back against a few defenders. And despite being 21, showing the confidence to take people on consistently with 2.5 take-ons per game successfully and over a 50% rate, it does show that he is weaving through tackles and bringing the ball up for his team, even in counter-attacking situations or at times where the other team may be discomforted with their defense. And while Leipzig do play a progressive system with a lot of their players being very quick and good on their counter-attacks, which definitely helps Xavi Simons, he's also a very good passer generally in settled possession. Now, he doesn't make the huge amount of passes per game and making around 38 completed and trying about 48. His progressive passing is most of the passes that he does. He loves passing it forward, and 1 in every 5 passes he does ends up being a progressive pass in a game. This accompanied by the fact his long passing is very good at 63% completion rate with around 4 a game happening, shows he's got a lot of confidence of switching the play and getting the ball up the team quickly in a long ball situation. Now, this guy does play mostly as a 10. His creative numbers, his key passes are around 2.7, and he does like sitting a little bit deeper to make sure he can control the game rather than being a winger that would run at other players. His passes into the final third and into the penalty area are very high for these positions, and it is because he majority plays centrally or coming in the middle to help Dani Olmo, who's the other attacking player for Leipzig. And now this leads to him having around 6 shot creating actions per game, and a lot of his successful take-ons, around half of a game, is becoming a shot for his teammates overall. And overall, everything he does is to help the players around him than necessarily being a player that is always going to look to shoot. This is why his shooting stats are much lower for players in his position, only around 2.5 per game and 1 on target. But when you compare that to the assists he's getting per game at 0.3 with an expected assist of a 0.31, you can definitely see he is more of a creative player from deeper than someone that is going to have loads of shots at the goal. Now, with his ability to run at defenders but also be 2 steps ahead and making passes, it's really helped the output in the Bundesliga, and obviously he was the top assister last season within the league in his first year, and almost all of his assists were just brilliant movement and connection that he has with the teammates around him. And the biggest beneficiary of his talents has been the star striker Openda, who has found the perfect partner in crime to complement their speed and attacking nous that they both have. And while the team does overall typically thrive in transition when there's space to be eaten up, Xavi's ability to manipulate the ball allows his teammates to make off-ball runs into space where the Dutchman can find him with pinpoint passes into that space overall. He loves players around him that are going to run and going to move, and although he has often played against teams that don't really have a low block against Leipzig, with his ability to run past multiple players at once and keep the ball, it could be very good in the future for getting that low block out of position. Now, while Xavi Simons is known for his on-the-ball work being incredible and he's a great creative player, he has actually shown a lot of intelligence and potential to be a very good defender or someone that is going to work very hard. Now, he is very dedicated for his team's systems and does love winning the ball back on the left wing spot. He will come back and help the fullback often at times as well, and with around 6 ball recoveries per 94 wingers, that is a very high amount. This alongside a 0.55 interceptions per 90 and winning around 53% of his aerials won despite him not being very tall. Although he is having a short amount a game, maybe 1 or 2, and he's winning half of them, it shows he's intelligent of when he's actually going to go in for the aerials because he can win a majority of them despite not having the biggest stature out there. Now, he's not an aggressive player and he isn't going to be someone that wins tackles and really beats the other team. He is someone that is going to be intelligent and pick runs and places where he can intercept the ball without having to touch anyone in the meantime. And sometimes an aggressive player could make mistakes in giving away poor fouls in poor positions when they don't need it to, and getting cards which they don't need to, which Xavi Simons doesn't pick up, only picking around 0.3 per game. Now, despite Xavi Simons obviously having a brilliant output and clearly has a lot of potential, even starting for Netherlands in the Euros, it doesn't seem like PSG want to keep him, putting him up for sale or at least a loan this year, but he does want to leave permanently if he isn't going to play. And with the quality that this guy has and the price PSG would want being valued around 80 on transfer market, it definitely could be a great bargain for anyone to sign. Now, it's quite clear that this player can do it in a top 5 league, but he needs the best environment to make him succeed, someone that is going to give him time and allow him to play with like-minded young players develop in the squad. Arsenal is definitely an attractive proposition for him. He's been linked with them before, but his style of play on the ball with a dribbling, counter-attacking system could help Arsenal on the transition. It's also very coachable because he's very hard-working and has a great football IQ, something that Mikel Arteta looks for a lot in his players. He has worked with attacking midfielders before like Olmo, so he could always work with Odegaard, and can fill in as a backup option in both winger positions and even centre forward and attacking midfield if Odegaard isn't there. He could provide brilliant elite play in that advanced 8. His work rate will really help them be able to win the ball back in that position as well, working well with Rice in defensive midfield. He would give Arsenal that transitional threat they would need, and with the cheap deal that they can get him for, I think it could be a brilliant signing that they should make, or at least try to, even though it could be quite hard. Another caveat is that his agent is actually Darren Dean, the son of David Dean, who used to be the Arsenal owner, so he could potentially be convinced to join the Gunners. Another potential outfit for him could be Man United. Now, if Erik ten Hag staying, there is definitely a project building there, and obviously they both have that Dutch connection. I think for Man United, he'd predominantly play on that right wing spot that they've struggled to deal with, so they could keep a lot of pressure down that side and be very good on the counter attack, which is sort of the style that they go for anyway, playing a bit of a long ball system where he can work really well off the ball, but more importantly can actually get the players within the team on the ball a lot more, such as Bruno further up the pitch. His smart IQ is something that Man United are missing, and his work rate would definitely be what they want from their wingers, which they don't get right now. Of course, he might not get the most time or most output might come at Man United right now, but he definitely has potential and has shown that he has good output within every season he has played. So for the value that you can get him for, could be worth Manchester United getting him, and I think these two teams make the most sense for me right now, where he's going to play a lot and develop around a group of players that are very similar to him and his style. But overall, where do you think Xavi Simons should sign for, and who do you think would be the best place for his progression to go? I think he definitely should leave PSG if they're not going to give him substantial substantial game time. And I think realistically, a lot of top 6 clubs could be interested in the Premier League and outside of Europe. Let me know what you think about him and in the comments of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.